morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where we have over 700 videos, all having to do with our three main ideas of emergency preparedness, food security, and self-reliance. And so you can pretty much find whatever you might need in order to feel more prepared for the uncertain times in which we live. We hope you are enjoying our channel. We hope you subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with others who may benefit from the content that we have here. We love our audience. This is a learning community. We share ideas with each other, and we all focus on the utmost respect and kindness. We don't tolerate any snark or any rudeness on our channel at all. So welcome, and today we are going to talk about ways that we can use our freeze-dried cream cheese. Now this is cream cheese exactly a year ago. This was in March of last year. We did a video over on trail grazers about how to freeze dry cream cheese. Now we had moved most of our freeze drying videos over to Trail Grazers, and Trail Grazers is our other channel. We've changed the focus on that. It is now, we have obtained access to a cabin, a very remote cabin, and we are turning that into a bugging out / vacation place for us. And so we're going to be doing future freeze-dry videos on this channel. But the cream cheese video is over there, and I will put a link to that at the very end of this video so that you can check it out if you have a freeze dryer and want to know how to do it. We love cream cheese. The thought of not having it available is what motivated us to go ahead and do a big batch of freeze-dried cream cheese. But how do you use it? How do you reconstitute it? So I'm going to demonstrate that. We're going to talk about a lot of ways that you can use it, and then we're going to demonstrate two ways. So first of all, we have other jars out in our food storage that are vacuum sealed, but this one is in our indoor pantry. So once I get into a jar of it, I don't re-vacuum seal it, and there's no need to do that. So I'm going to be putting a cup of the powder, whoopsie, right in there. And this is now ready to go back into the pantry without being re-vacuum sealed. To this 1 cup of powder, we are going to add a ½ cup of boiling water. We have discovered that using boiling water to reconstitute things like yogurt and cheeses and this cream cheese is the best way how to do it. All right, I hear our water boiling over here, so I'm going to bring it over and we'll get ½ cup. Now, a ½ cup is just the start, just the basic recipe. But because of what I'm going to be doing with this, I may add some more water. So stirring it into boiling water makes it quite smooth, which is what we want. And then if you're just going to use it plain, you would put this in the refrigerator and let it cool, and then it would thicken up. Now, what we're going to be doing today, now sometimes it will be a little bit grainy, and so I have learned to combat that. I use this cream cheese in other recipes rather than just plain. So today I'm going to make a cheese spread. Now at this point in time, if you wanted some flavored cream cheese, like to spread on bagels or whatever, you could add a tablespoon or 2 of strawberry jam or whatever flavor you wanted. It is great that way. It's great for making any dip recipe that you might need cream cheese. It's great for adding to a recipe. This is the same as 1 block of an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, so it's thickening up already and it's quite smooth. I am going to add to this, I'm going to be making a cheese spread to show you how easy it is to work with in this way. So I'm putting in about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now the heat there is going to make that just a little bit melty. Also, it's going to thicken it up just a little bit. So this cheese spread is going to be a garlic herb cheese spread. I am adding of our ghee, maybe maybe a teaspoon, and that's it. Just enough to get a little bit more fat in there. And then I'm going to, for our garlic herb flavor, I am going to be using this Weber roasted garlic and herb rub. Now this is pretty powerful stuff. Ask me how I learned that. I put too much in when I was just experimenting. So I'm just going to put, this is a scant teaspoon, and it's going right in there. And I'm mixing that in. And right now, this is a great dip. And I am going to taste it with, I have a little wheat thin cracker right here, so I'm going to taste it just to see if I like it. The balance with this, with that amount of the roasted garlic and herb rub was perfect. Not quite a teaspoon. So as is, this can be a dip, it can be a spread for sandwiches, and it's still a tiny bit warm, not very much. But once it cools, it will thicken up some more too. So you can, this is very versatile to use this way, so you could do any one of a number of things with it. Now what we're going to do with it now that we have learned how to make spreads and dips and that sort of thing, I'm going to use it in a recipe. And so I have my crock pot, my slow cooker right here, and we're going to make some potato soup. So I am starting with a bag of potatoes O'Brien. This is a 28-ounce package, and I'm just going to put it right in there. It is thawed. Now, if you wish, you can brown those potatoes first. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put them in. And then I have almost a full quart of broth. This happens to be turkey broth. Normally I would use chicken broth, but once again, I'm out of chicken broth, so I have to do another batch. So this is going in. It's already looking wonderful. Then I'm going to take the entirety of this spread and just dollop it along the top. So this is going to make it a creamy, flavorful mix. This is a wonderful recipe. The aftertaste of that spread in my mouth is very nice. Okay. Then I'm going to take about a 1/4 pound of bacon that I have previously cooked, and I'm just going to cut it in little pieces. And with the bacon, I'm simply going to sprinkle it on the top.
Dollops of bacon?
Yes. Now I'm not going to stir. It is plugged in, and I'm going to turn it on low. Now I'm going to keep it on low for about 2 hours while we run to my daughter's birthday party. They live just about 10 miles away, so by the time we get back, it'll be at least 2 hours, and then I'm going to turn it on high to finish it off. So we will be back when we're ready to do the next step after it is pretty much done. It's been about 3.5 hours and we're back. We had a great time at the party. My grandson and his wife and their 2 babies were there, ages 4 and 2. What two little live wires those kids are. We get exhausted just watching them run around the room. They're just so cute. We had a great time, but we're back now, and we've been back for a couple of hours. And so we cooked the soup on low for 2 hours, and then it's been another hour on high. And come take a look. So it's all stirred together now. And you can see there was a little bit more fat rendering of the bacon, so there's a kind of a layer of fat on the top. The potatoes are very, very done. Now, we need to decide whether or not we like it just like this, or whether we want it to be a little bit thicker. Before that, we also need to add some salt and some pepper, because we have not added that yet either. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of salt, because I know it needs salt. And pepper. And then when we have it for supper tonight, we can certainly add more on an individual basis if necessary. So here is some pepper. And we can put those aside. Stir that in. Now there are a couple of ways, more than a couple of ways. There are several ways that we can thicken this up if we wish. One thing that we can do is to just take a regular potato masher and just kind of go through and do a little bit like this. And that does a little bit. We can also remove it to in small batches to a blender, only about half of the soup, and blend it up, and that would thicken it up and smooth it out some. But I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take, these are Bob's Red Mill potato flakes, and that's all they are. They're just flakes. They are not, no salt, no pepper, no fat. It's just potato. So I'm going to take about a half a cup of these flakes and pour over the top, and we will stir these in. Those flakes will absorb some of the fat and make it just a little bit thicker. Ooh. And then we'll have the little lumps. Now, potatoes O'Brien already have peppers and onions in it, plus we added that cream cheese spread that had the garlic and herb flavors to it. So, ooh, this is a lovely, hearty, hearty soup. So I'm going to take, that's perfect. Don't you think, Jim? Does that look okay to you?
A little more potato flakes.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
That should be in there.
This is the quick and
much better.
Okay, you like it a little thicker then. Okay. It does look really good. Oh, honey, thank you. That was a great suggestion. All right. So I'm just going to take a little bit, because it's not quite time for our supper yet, and put in this bowl and spread it out so that it will cool somewhat. Notice that I also have a loaf of homemade bread right here to have along with our soup when we have it for supper tonight. So here is a little taste. Grab a piece of bacon here. It is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love the idea of using the potatoes O'Brien to give the mixture of, to give the taste of the peppers and the onions as well. And boy, adding that little extra bit that Jim suggested of the potato flakes just made it the perfect consistency. The potatoes are very, very soft. You can just soften them. I can smash them with my tongue easy enough. So we have now this lovely recipe, and it certainly fits with level 1 if that's what we would desire. This will also be a great meal to take with us up to the cabin when we're busy all day doing our work projects. And once we get the electrical, we've got a little electrical up there right now, but we have just purchased another Bluetti that is also going to help us with power to be able to use solar while we wait for the crew to finish the solar, which is not going to happen for a little while. So anyway, we are well set. This is a delicious recipe. It's a fantastic way to use our freeze-dried cream cheese. Hope you have enjoyed this. Hope you will try, if you have done freeze-dried cream cheese, add to the comments some of the ways that you have used your freeze-dried cream cheese. That's one thing about our community. We like to share information, and a number of times we've had people say, I loved the video and I loved the comments. I learned so much from the comments. And that just thrills us because that's what we're all about. So thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you again very soon for more videos.